Hey, what's up, everybody? JC here, and today I'm back at it with another live stream video. I started this last week, and I thought it was kind of cool. And I figured because this week we've got a lot to talk about, based on all the reveals from Hasbro and stuff. I figured it was a good time to do it again. So hopefully you'll be joining me here. Nobody's in here yet, but I will go on. All right. I'm seeing some people come in here, but all right, here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? JC here, and doing another live stream video. If you caught mine last Saturday, basically I sit here playing some Marvel superheroes, take questions from you guys. I figured with all the Hasbro reveals this weekend from the EU Comic Cons, I figured you guys might have some questions, so I figured why not do it again. So welcome. And starting off playing Marvel superheroes here on the arcade 1-up machine. I got a little Civil War going on here, taking on Iron Man. But hopefully you guys checked out like new Marvel Legend reveals this morning from the Paris Comic Convention, where they revealed the Build-A-Figure for the next Spider-Man wave, which honestly, I think a little bit disappointing as far as the figure they announced as a Build-A-Figure. Not that the figure itself was bad, because I think the figure itself was pretty cool, but not sure it warrants the Build-A-Figure treatment. Now, I'm sure it's because of the glider. He's got a big giant fire glider made of translucent plastic and everything. So I'm sure that's why, it wouldn't be easy to fit that in a normal release figure packaging. And that's why they opted to do it as a Build-A-Figure. But I think a lot of people are going to feel kind of cheated that that's a Build-A-Figure. Not that there's really a rule that says all Build-A-Figures have to be supersized characters, but that's the general line of thinking I feel. So, like I said, it's a cool looking figure overall. I thought, but just not really what I was expecting to be the Build-A-Figure. In fact, if you caught my article I did earlier this week, my top 5 picks for Build-A-Figures for that wave, that definitely was not. It didn't even enter my mind as being a possibility. A little disappointed it wasn't a PS4 Rhino. I felt like that would have been a perfect fit for this wave, being there's 2 of the figures in the wave are based on the PS4 Spider-Man game. We've already gotten comic book Rhino, but that kind of mechanical armored Rhino, I think would make a pretty cool figure. I mean, personally, I wanted a Stilt Man, more of a Daredevil bad guy, but definitely I would have loved to have seen a Stilt Man. I know a lot of you guys were wanting to see the Surgeon Dinosaur Man character, which is kind of, I don't know, to me that's kind of an odd choice, but seems to be a popular one. I see that name come up a lot when we start talking about Spider-Man Build-A-Figures, so kind of weird. Mr. Hyde was another one that a lot of you guys seem to be interested in wanting to see, though again, not really a Spider-Man, not one that I think of generally as a Spider-Man villain. Juggernaut just kicked my butt. Of course, Juggernaut has already gotten the Build-A-Figure treatment. God damn it. Spider Slayer was really kind of the one I was thinking would be a good choice for this wave. But, besides the glider, I do think Hasbro probably made a cost-saving choice here. This seems like a retooled figure and everything, so I'm sure that entered into the equation. Alright, well anyway, enough of me jabbering on. Juggernaut kicked my butt. Go again. Norman Osborn head. Yeah, that would be cool. Though Norman wasn't Demo Goblin, so I don't think that would show up with the Demo Goblin figure. How do I feel about the Batman movie finally coming along? Tyler, well, I haven't been impressed with the things I've been hearing for the Batman movie. I'm gonna try and keep an open mind until we actually see it. But what's his face from the vampire movies? I don't know. It wasn't my top choice. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, he's a much better actor than he was in those movies," but I don't know. I haven't really seen it. But like I said, I'll keep an open. Until we see really more, I'll try and keep an open mind about it. And it looks like the Riddler is going to be the villain for the movie, which kind of cool, I guess. Actually, I'm maybe one of the few people that actually thought Jim Carrey did a pretty good job as the Riddler, and actually that's probably my second favorite of the original, Batman movies. That's probably actually my second favorite. I was not a fan of the second Batman movie, and actually like the third one. Fourth one with George Clooney sucked, but I actually like the Val Kilmer one. Let's see. Watching from Bolivia. Hey, Oscar. How's it going in Bolivia there? Any of you guys watching the new, speaking of Batman, any of you watching the new Batwoman series? I wasn't terribly impressed by it when she appeared in the last year's DC TV crossover, but I actually think, the actual series itself has actually been not too bad. I mean, it's still kind of early to tell. And I'm one of the few who thinks that eventually Batman will make it into the series. Just kind of like Superman is occasionally featured in the Supergirl series. They'll find a reason to keep him out of it most of the time. But eventually they'll probably go looking for him, or they'll do a story about why he's missing and things like that. Have you watched it, Tyler? I mean, it's actually not bad. And actually, I like the Arrow. I've been watching the Arrow. I thought got a little iffy the last couple seasons, but I've actually been enjoying this season. It's the final season, and the Arrow has been, basically, it's going to take us into the whole crisis thing. So I've actually found that pretty interesting. You don't like DC? Crypto Prime? I like DC. I'm more of a Marvel fan, but I do like DC. I mean, truth is, I grew up watching the old 60s Batman. Not that it was in reruns. I'm not that old. But I watched that as a kid all the time. And back in the 80s with the Justice League cartoon, and then Batman the Animated Series, and started reading comics, the DC comic stuff. I started Marvel first, but then I started getting into the DC stuff shortly afterwards. It's actually Transformers and G.I. Joe that got me into comic books, which of course back then was done by Marvel. Juggernaut keeps kicking my butt. I just hope, as far as the crisis thing goes, I hope Arrow survives and we can continue to see him guest appear in other shows. Yeah, Rambach. Yeah, I mean, obviously the female is the lead character, and so I'm not going to say there's no feminist propaganda. Not that I consider that actually feminist, but where I'm assuming you're taking, when it is propelling the women in the lead roles and everything. But honestly, it really just hasn't been. It's not like something overt. I always kind of laugh about how people who kind of when they feel like these shows are catering to like the social justice warrior type deal. But I mean, in all honesty, these kinds of shows and cartoons and stuff, you know, in the 80s and stuff, I mean, that's really always been like that. You know, trying to teach kids tolerance and get along with people of all kinds of race and color and sex and all that. You know, putting female characters in positions of strength. I mean, that's just not really anything new with this kind of programming. Now, sometimes, yeah, it can get a little overt and over the top, but as long as it's a good story, I have no problem with that kind of stuff. Uh, Toy Bandit, probably the one I end up playing the most is this one, Marvel Superheroes. The Punisher game's pretty good. I mean, the X-Men game's good. You know, very similar to this one, only all X-Men characters. But I kind of gravitate to this one because of, you know, Captain America being my favorite character. The Punisher is a fun game. I played it last week, and we played it all the way through. I'm kind of talking and not concentrating, so Juggernaut, who is pretty tough, is kicking my ass, but this is probably my favorite of the three. Brian, Batman Begins? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's kind of weird, you know. The only thing, like, as far as the Batwoman goes, obviously Batman's a well-established character who's, for whatever reason, disappeared. But, like, in the crossover last year, you know, Batman was more of a myth than an actual factual thing. So it's kind of weird how, you know, I feel like they kind of changed, you know, they were going to go in a different direction and then maybe changed it after the crossover series last year. I don't know. But again, I do think, yeah, the Batwoman character and just the overall series is a lot better than what we first saw in last year's crossover. How do I feel about McFarlane possibly doing 7-inch scale as opposed to 6-inch scale? For me personally, Perry, I have no huge issue with that. I have plenty of 7-inch scale figures, especially from DC. Most of the DC collectibles stuff has been 7-inch, and you know, NECA stuff is 7-inch. There's plenty of 7-inch scale lines out there, and it's not that imperative to me that it be an exact scale as Marvel Legends. Now, I know some people feel that way, so I do feel from a business standpoint, from a sales standpoint, that probably a 6-inch line in scale with Marvel Legends and older DC UC sell better. I do think it's kind of a missed opportunity, but I also understand that 7-inch is McFarlane Toys' standard scale. It's what they know. It's what all their other lines are in. So it makes sense to me to some, you know, to a certain extent that they would go that route. Are you getting Disney Plus? Yes. I'm tired of all these different streaming services. It's getting way out of hand, but the Disney, you know, it's going to have enough things with the Star Wars and all the different Marvel and stuff that, you know, I'm going to have to get that one. But, you know, I've kind of drawn the line as, you know, I've got Netflix, I've got Hulu, I've got Amazon Prime, and I'll end up getting the Disney Plus, but that's really it. These services are going to have to start consolidating because it's really, you know, the whole idea behind these things originally was supposed to be cheaper than cable, you know, cut the cord, get rid of your cable, save some money, but now it's just getting so ridiculous with all the, you know, but if you sign up for all these different streaming services, you're going to be spending far more than you ever did on cable. So yeah, I've yet to beat Juggernaut, to be honest, especially when you take him on later stages, at least with Cap. Now, I'm not, like, by no means am I an expert in this game. And I continue to say the consoles were easier than the actual arcade. Do I think they'll ever do a new Marvel Legend with Spider-Man figure? Certainly a possibility, but I don't see it anytime soon. I think they're pretty happy with the the mold, the mold that they've been using. So, but yeah, eventually I could definitely see them coming up with a new mold and probably doing another Spider-Man. They'll always characters like Spider-Man. They'll always try and find new ways of doing them. So. Morph is coming, I think. No, not more. Yeah, wasn't Morph? I gotta. Wasn't he announced for the Age of Apocalypse line in San Diego? What would be something that would make me get out of the action figure hobby? I don't know. Me being I do this for a living. Uh, I mean, I work with action figures essentially for a living. I cover them in the news and stuff for a living, so it would take quite a lot. But I could see if I was just purely, if this wasn't something I also did as a job, just probably not necessarily totally out because there'd probably always be figures here and there that I'd want to get. But even now, there are times where I feel kind of burnt out, where it's like Marvel Legends. I love Marvel Legends, but sometimes I feel like Hasbro's overdoing it, especially like with all these fan channel exclusive repaints. Now nothing says I have to buy every single figure that Hasbro puts out. So, but it just kind of takes the hype, the excitement sometimes when they way overdo it. But I don't think I'd ever totally get out of action. Like I said, even if I wasn't running the websites and everything, I probably would always collect. And pretty much my entire life I have in some shape or form. As a kid I got them to play with, and then probably for a little while I moved on to other things. But then, in high school I started, kind of collecting again. And pretty much, in college, I wasn't an avid collector, but I got a few things here and there. Just like comics. I mean, I don't read nearly as many comic books as I once did, but I still, get a few here and there. Let's see. Are you going to review the ZD Toys Mark 85? It is released. Yeah, I saw it was out, but I wasn't really planning on it. I don't know if you guys saw Tomasi Nations looks like is going to do another Mark 85 with the weapons pack, which I did not get the previous SH Figure Arts Iron Man Mark 85 that didn't have any accessories really, any weapons, because I knew after what I saw they did with the Mark 50, I knew they would end up re-releasing it. So I will probably get the SH Figure Arts one, which obviously is much more expensive, but and then I did get the Captain America. I broke down, got the Captain America, the first SH Figure Arts Avengers Endgame Captain America, and now it looks like they're gonna redo it with the broken shield and the Thor's hammer and lightning effect and stuff. So I'm debating on whether to get that. And then they've got the new Iron Spider-Man with the instant kill mode and the gauntlet, the power gauntlet that he can carry across the battlefield like in the movie. So I had gotten that original SH Figure Arts Iron Spider-Man. I don't know if I'll get this one. Would you enjoy a modern Jackal? If you mean like as opposed to the classic one they did, as in like a different look, I'm actually probably not that familiar with. I'm more familiar with the classic Jackal look. So I'm pretty happy with that one. Not that Jackal's, I mean, in all honesty, Jackal's not hugely favorite character of mine. You know, he has a large tie with that whole Peter Parker clone storyline back in the day, which was not very good. I mean, I know it gave us some cool characters like Ben Reilly and stuff, but that overall story I just was never really terribly fond of. Yeah, I love that. All those Alex Ross figures that Hasbro did, the Iron Man, Thor, and Cap, I think are great figures. I'd love to see them continue that. I don't like these fan channel exclusive Marvel 80th anniversary repaints, but if they did more classic characters in the style of those Alex Ross figures, I think those would be popular. A comic book version of Iron Spider, yeah, I definitely would love to see an updated version of that. And a new classic War Machine comic book base. I agree. It's needed. And I want a new updated US Agent with the bigger buck. If you guys don't know, US Agent is probably my favorite character, even above Captain America, just because I love the outfit, the black and red outfit. Which, of course, you know, Captain America himself first wore as the Captain. That's one of my favorite storylines. What do you got? Any of you guys into the Star Wars stuff? What did you watch the new trailer this week, and what did you think of Hasbro's reveals this weekend? Star Wars just I love Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but Star Wars in general just does not seem to have the hype, you know, the following it once did. And I was a little disappointed with Hasbro's reveals this weekend. You know, originally they told us they were going to be doing 8 prequel figures. You know, they said that yesterday at Paris, and then today at MCM they changed it to 6 and didn't actually reveal any more. Supposedly they're going to reveal 4 more next week, but instead they revealed the Knight of Ren 6-inch Black Series and Zori Bliss from the new movie. Yeah, U.S. Agent definitely, you know, especially since he's going to be in the new Falcon and Winter Soldier series, you know, and I really hope that we get to see the U.S. I mean, we know John Walker is going to be in the series, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be U.S. Agent. So I really hope we get to see the U.S. Agent, MCU version of the U.S. Agent outfit. That'll be sweet. Video game figures look good, yeah. Based on the new game coming out, I want to get that new Trooper figure that's coming to GameStop. Do you think it would be cool if there was a Marvel Cinematic Universe 3.7 line reminiscent of Transformers Studios series? I'm not sure I get the connection of Transformers, but I mean, they did for a while. They were doing MCU 3 3/4 inch figures, but I don't see Hasbro really, as far as Marvel goes, going back to 3 3/4 inch anytime soon. They just don't seem. I don't know if it's they just don't sell well enough for them or what, but they just don't seem to really. You know, they always tell you that it's always possible and things like that, but I really don't feel like there's much chance. You know, they might do an occasional figure or something here and there. You know, they tried doing those Gamerverse ones, but I just don't see the Marvel Universe line really ever returning. And even like the Star Wars 3 3/4 inch, they're doing the vintage collection, but that's, you know, it's disappointing. Like with the movie, there's only one vehicle, basically only one vintage collection vehicle they're doing with the Poe Dameron X-Wing, which is a nice, I like the update to the X-Wing, but the fact that, we've got this movie and it looks like they're essentially just doing one vehicle. I mean, there could be a few more, one or two more they might announce, but definitely it's not like it used to be. When a movie would come out, you get a slew of vehicles, and that's just not the case anymore. And I feel like with 3 3/4 inch, especially like with Star Wars and GI Joe, you got to have the vehicles with the figures. The figures by themselves, the whole point of the smaller scale is to be able to have the vehicles. It's not that. It's not that. I mean, they've done it a little bit, but it's not that practical for 6 inch because they just get to be too big and take up too much room. But now, truth be told, one of the problems with Star Wars vehicles is, especially they really, they just end up rehashing the same molds over and over again because they don't really invent a whole lot new. I mean, these new prequel, or one of the complaints about the newer movies is it's just reusing all the same stuff as we'd seen before, so there really wasn't anything terribly new. Spider-Man. Amazing Spider. I gotta figure an Amazing Spider-Man is Amazing Friends 3-pack has got to be in the works sooner or later. I mean, it would be an easy, just take the recent Iceman and a few minor changes and take Spider-Man, then just give us a Firestar figure and you'd be all set. So that seems like something Hasbro would definitely do. Now we got some more Marvel Legends, or at least another Marvel Legend reveal should be coming tomorrow from the MCM convention. Today was the Paris Comic Con reveals, but tomorrow I'm thinking it's going to be the Fantastic Four Build-A-Figure is the main one they're going to show tomorrow. Maybe another Black Widow. I'm pretty sure that Winter Soldier is going to be part of the Black Widow wave. So either that or maybe the Stepford Cuckoos, which are likely going to be a Walgreens exclusive. I could see them revealing that too. I mean, we're not going to see Fox movie figures until, well, we're not going to see, I don't think Hasbro's going to do Fox, like, movie figures based on, the original Fox movies. At least not anytime soon. Obviously when they finally bring the X-Men into the MCU, we'll see those versions. But like, the black suit X-Men and stuff, A, I don't think would be terribly popular, and B, I just don't see Hasbro doing it. Toy Biz did them back in the day, which, frankly, most of them were pretty boring. I mean, not that they were bad looking figures, but just those black costumes and everything were boring. Marvel Legends Zombie line? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Diamond Select was doing those for a while, and they kind of had, as I understand it, they kind of had to stop. So, I don't know. Disney may just not want their characters being zombified on a regular basis. Not saying it's impossible, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. I'm interested to see what that Marvel Select Avengers Endgame Thanos is going to look like. The picture, from the catalog is not that great, but hopefully it'll be pretty cool. Their classic comic book based Thanos is still, even, they did that a long time ago, but today, I think it's a great figure. And frankly, I don't think you could really improve upon classic Thanos. Well, you know, more Venom figures are going to come when the second movie comes out, so I'm sure a bigger buck Venom is a possibility. Yeah, I'm over Deadpool. I'm not even really that interested in getting the X-Force one. I mean, the card back looks cool, but it's not a bad looking figure. It's just I've got more than enough Deadpool at this point, so I wouldn't mind getting eventually a movie Deadpool, but I don't know. I mean, I remember Toy Biz did those 2-packs back in the day, and I mean, if Hasbro could do Capcom characters, and I mean, we saw a little bit of that with three and three-quarter inch line, but I have a feeling that if Hasbro tried to do 6-inch versions of Capcom characters, they would end up butting heads with the likes of, Storm Collectibles and Tomasi Nations. I mean, granted, those are overseas companies, but Capcom may not. I mean, Storm Collectibles, I'm sure, wouldn't be too happy if Hasbro started doing 6-inch Capcom figures. I don't think a movie Deadpool is coming anytime soon. Not until the next Deadpool movie comes out. But once that happens, I definitely think we'll end up seeing a movie version of Deadpool. And unless the costume's going to drastically change, I mean, Deadpool's it'll be interesting to see how they do Deadpool, because Deadpool is a character where conceivably you could have him be the same version of Deadpool that was in the Fox universe, since whereas like with the X-Men and Fantastic Four, likely those are going to be completely rebooted, not like continued carryovers from Fox, but I could definitely see Deadpool himself, especially since Ryan Reynolds is going to continue to play him and everything. I could see him being the exact same Deadpool from the Fox movies. Six-inch Thunderstrike would be cool. Yep, I agree. We got the 3 3/4 inch the one time. I would love to see Thor in his armor from the 80s and 90s, when his body was falling apart and he had to wear the armor all the time. I would love to see that version right before Thunderstrike and everything. I'd love to see that version of Thor done in a 6-inch figure. I wouldn't mind seeing a modern Thor with the golden arm. Spider-Man is one of the hardest characters to beat in this game. If you get Spider-Man in the first round, I can beat him, but when you start getting to the third, because every time you progress to a next character, they get harder. So Spider-Man just freaking jumps around all the time. Oh, see, I had that blocked. God. There was never a 4-inch. If you're talking about Thunderstrike, there was a 4-inch. Because I have it. was one of the one of the last waves they did, but they did Thunderstrike. So his articulation isn't as good as like the earlier figures, but they did actually do a 4-inch Thunderstrike. Franklin Richards, yeah, I could see them doing that. Let's hope that's not the Build-A-Figure for the Fantastic Four wave. This yeah, I know what you're talking about with the Scorpion. They did that Vulture version. Any of you guys into the Power Ranger figures? If you check the new wave of Lightning Collection figures. I'm not a huge Power Ranger fan, but actually I like the Lightning Collection stuff. It seems to be pretty good. Spider-Man just keeps kicking my butt. Better not, yeah. I mean, that Annihilus figure was pretty good, but I definitely think they could improve upon it. I wouldn't mind seeing a red ghost with his apes. That's my feeling is the Build-A-Figure for this Fantastic Four wave is going to be Super Skrull, but yeah, they totally surprised me on the Spider-Man one, so who knows? Yeah, what do you think about them doing comic book based figures for Power Rangers already? Seems to have mixed results. I think it's kind of cool. I like that they're kind of diving. My thing with Hasbro is they own that license now. It's not like it's not like a Marvel or Star Wars where somebody else owns it. They own that license now, so they're not going to give up on that line unless sales just totally tank. So, I think eventually they'll get around to doing everybody, but. Let's see. Banshee, yeah, Banshee. I gotta imagine Banshee will come sooner or later. An updated Banshee. I know they've been doing a lot of like 90s X-Men stuff, but I want anybody interested in seeing them starting to do more modern versions, like the most recent incarnation of the X-Men. I kind of wouldn't mind starting to see a little more modern versions of the X-Men being done. If Aunt May was ever done, it would probably have to be either a Comic-Con exclusive or a 2-pack or something along those lines. A store exclusive 2-pack type deal. But yeah, I don't see them doing Aunt May. Definitely not alone and definitely not as a regular release. Same thing with like J. Jonah Jameson. Though you can make your own J. Jonah Jameson using the if you take the Black Panther movie claw figure and take the J. Jonah Jameson head sculpt from the Tombstone figure, or not Tombstone, but God now he's slipping my mind. His name's slipping my mind, but you know what I'm talking about. The one that came, the J. Jonah head that they did with the one figure, Spider-Man figure. If you take that head sculpt and put it on the claw body, it actually makes a pretty good gauge on a Jameson figure. Yeah, the Chameleon. I don't know why that name slipped my mind. Of course, keep in mind, I've been up since 3:30 this morning because I had to get up because being the Hasbro panel, the Marvel panel this morning was overseas. It started at 4 a.m. my time, so I've been up. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'd love a Nimrod. Yeah, I'm with you there. And classic Nimrod. I gotta figure they'll do more Reavers too. I mean, Dwight Stahl loves the Reavers, and they've already started, so. Alright, I'm getting kind of bored of this. Let's switch to a different game. I always hit the wrong button. Alright, we'll play a Punisher again. I want to see the rest of the New Warrior class, original New Warriors done. And also the original Thunderbolts. The rest of the original Thunderbolts. And a new Falcon, a modern Falcon would be cool too. Classic would be good, but I'd rather actually see a modern Falcon over a classic one. Mainly just because I'm happy enough with my Toy Biz classic Falcon. And, you know, once again with TV series and such, I figure Falcon will eventually get done. So what other, like, obviously a lot of you guys are into Marvel Legends, but what else are you guys collecting? NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Yeah, I got my, I'm hoping I can get the second wave, or at least the Rocksteady and Bebop, off the Target website when it becomes available. You know, they're listed on there now, but they haven't, you know, they're not in stock yet. And I imagine Rocksteady and Bebop, when it does come online, it's going to sell out pretty quickly. But my Target, I never saw the first wave at my Target, so my best chance is getting it online. You're welcome, Jedi. I'm debating on whether to review the Crosshairs, which I think is just a repaint of the Ironhide figure they did, which I don't actually have. And I'm not terribly familiar with Crosshairs, but I may end up reviewing that one. I'm going to have the GameStop. I got a notice yesterday that GameStop was shipping out my X-Men 3-pack with the Jean Grey and Cyclops and Wolverine, so that should be here early next week. So I definitely plan on reviewing that one. Like, there are a couple of figures out there that I'm interested in reviewing, but I just don't think they're going to get very good views. And like the McFarlane Toys Doomsaber figure, that's out. Doomslayer. And but I don't know if it'd get very good reviews. And then the Mattel Jurassic Park 6-inch figures are out. I was thinking of getting those. The Jeff Goldblum figure. Maybe do a comparison of the Hasbro Jeff Goldblum Marvel figure with the Mattel Jurassic Park one. See who wins out. I gotta tell you, YouTube is frustrating as hell because if you review something that doesn't get good views, then the algorithm seems to punish you for it, and then all your videos start tanking. And so it's like like things you want to review, but then you don't want to because then you don't think they're going to get a lot of views, and it's just a pain in the butt. And that's assuming YouTube doesn't screw all of us here come January. I don't know why, but I've just never really been able to get into Dragon Ball Z. I mean, the figures look good, but it's just not a property I was ever able to get interested in. Half the names I can never pronounce anyway. Hey Everett, how's it going? Well, it's going on 5 o'clock here, so if you guys don't have any more questions, probably going to wrap it up here. Are you going as Jason Everett this year for Halloween? Nice. Yeah, I never, I mean, as a kid, I think Dragon Ball was a little before my time. Hey Everett, the only 2 new Marvel Legends that have been announced was Demo Goblin for the Build-A-Figure for the next Spider-Man wave, and a Winter Soldier, a new comic book based Winter Soldier figure, which we don't know 100% how it's going to be released, but probably is going to be included in the next year's Black Widow themed wave. And that's it. There should be some more reveals tomorrow morning, a few more, but that was it for today. Yeah, writer series for Bone Crusher, that would be a good fit. And like I said, Dwight Stoll, the guy who heads up the Marvel brand team, he loves Reavers, so you know more are going to be coming. But yeah, that would be a good fit for the writer series. This tank and everything. Everett, cool. I hope you're not going to take that out trick-or-treating. A real machete might get you in trouble. Adam, fan channel exclusive is Hasbro, is the term Hasbro came up. So Hasbro, like websites like Marvelous News, Toy News International, Fwoosh, anything like that, they've always deemed as a fan website. And retailers like Big Bad Toy Store and and the likes, basically they consider cater to just the fans, not like kids and everything. So when they say fan channel exclusive, it's basically saying online. Now there are a few places like GameStop who's really picked up their action figure game in the past year or so, because their video game sales have continued to tank, and even places like Best Buy and a few others carry these, but primarily it's online that carries the fan channel exclusives. And so, but they call it fan channel because basically most of the online e-tailers that sell that kind of thing, they consider are selling it primarily just to fans, not like kids and the general public. Well, Thunderbird would be an easy, mod figure they could do based using that Warpath figure. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's kind of what I figure. I figure sooner or later we're going to either get Wolfsbane or X Factor Wolfsbane or X Force Feral, and then probably they'll take that sculpt and just kind of modify it and give us the other ones. So I don't know which one's going to come first, but I could see them definitely doing that. Yeah, and I just actually just got the Wolfsbane, the New Mutants one. I got it off the Walgreens website. They had it up earlier this week. So I was able to pick that figure. Actually got 3, so I got to have all 3 versions of the New Mutants. But that Wolfsbane, does not. I don't think that's a good representation of Wolfsbane. Was thinking though that with that figure, we've gotten all the original New Mutants in action figure form. Now Cannonball and Sunspot are obviously in more modern versions or 90s versions, not their original New Mutants looks. But the only original New Mutant character, I believe, that we have not gotten an action figure form at all for Marvel Legends is the Doug Ramsey character, Cypher. We've got Warlock, but we haven't gotten Doug. All right, guys. Well, I am going to call it for today, but thanks for joining me here. I may try and do this on a regular basis on Saturdays. I can't commit to every single Saturday, but definitely if you guys find this interesting, if you like having the Q&A sessions and stuff and just chatting, let me know in the comments section when the video, basically goes not live, but after it streams, it'll be just viewable as a regular video, and then you can comment. So let me know in the comments, and until next time, guys, I will catch you later.